Hey everyone, welcome to our Fit for 5K extended week. We are now on week 5, day 1. So we're going to keep the same workout leading up to whenever this 5K race is. We're just going to mess with how many rounds we're doing. Potentially, the run doesn't look like air quality is going to get any better by this weekend. So how I'm going to program this is we're just going to plan on probably being about 2 weeks out. So we are going to add a little bit more volume back and then probably taper next week, depending on what actually happens with the fires going on. So first of all, I hope everyone's safe and not been affected by these fires. So we're just gonna get right into it. To warm up, the first thing we're gonna do, we're just gonna do a little circuit to get our heart rate up. So the first thing I've got is we're gonna be in a push-up position and we're gonna pike. So we're gonna bring our hips up, walking our hands back and touching the opposite ankle, walking our hands back out to a push-up position and switching sides. And I just wanna get 5 each side. Four, 5, and 5. All right, next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do some beast to crab switches. So what that looks like is I'm gonna start in my beast activation position here. So I'm on all fours, balancing through my toes and my hands, and I'm just gonna switch like I'm doing a side kick through, but then I'm stopping in my crab position. And then I'm gonna go back the same way I came, back into beast. So I'm gonna alternate 3 each side. And rest. Those are our 2 exercises. We're just gonna do that one more time. So we've got our 5 pike to ankle touches each side. Starting in push-up position. Okay. Now we've got our beast to crab switches, 3 each side. Oop, I think I did 4. All right, so that's the end of that. So now we're just gonna do some scorpion stretches. So we're getting back into pretty much the same position. Bring my hips up. I'm just gonna lift my left heel as high as I can and then slowly let it fall over my right side. Letting gravity do its thing. And switch sides. So just take a couple breaths on each side. Before you switch, we're gonna do 5 each side. Come on, 3. 4. 5. And 5. All right, so next thing I've got, we're gonna flip over on our backs, warm up our glutes a little bit. So I'm gonna hug onto my right knee and I'm gonna drive through my left and we're gonna hold for 10. Ready? And we're up. Try to to hug that right knee to your chest as much as you can while still maintaining that tension as you push through your left heel, keeping your hips up. And rest. All right, switch sides. Same thing, try to keep that left knee close to your chest. And we're up, driving up through our right heel. And rest. All right, we're gonna do 6 single leg glute bridges on each side. So now I'm gonna get back onto my left heel. 6 single leg glute bridges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Switching sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right. Getting back onto all fours. Now what I'm gonna do is some T-spine rotation. So hand on my head, bringing my elbow underneath. Exhale, looking towards the ceiling. That's 1, 2, we've got 5 each side. 3, 4, and 5. Switch sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, we're back on our feet. We're gonna do some quad stretch to inverted hamstring, 5 each side. So I'm gonna grab onto my left ankle, getting tall, pointing my knee down towards the floor, hand up in the ceiling, and then I'm just gonna reach forward. Now I'm pointing my knee back behind me, and I'm up. If you need to get your balance, that's totally fine. You can start over, getting as tall as we can, leaning forward, driving that knee back. That's 2. There's 3, 2 more on this side. 4, and 5. All right, switching sides. That's 1. 2. 3. 4. Last one. And 5. All right. So next thing I've got, we're just gonna do 3 lateral lunges each side. So starting on going to my left, I'm just gonna reach out in front, trying to keep my chest up, and I'm stepping into the lunge. And then make sure that you can push yourself back up on that same leg that you're lunging into. And see if you can get a little bit lower each time while still getting your chest up. 2, 3, switching sides. I'm also making sure that that toe that I'm lunging into is still pointing forward and this leg is staying straight. My toe can pop up, that's totally fine, as long as it's not the one that's weight bearing. All right, so the last thing we're gonna do to finish our warm up is we're just gonna do some quick lateral quick sticks. So if I'm here, I'm gonna take a stride out, get back as fast as I can, and then stick it. And we're just gonna do 3 each side. So I'm gonna start on my left leg, pushing to my right, click, stick. Reset, load, click, stick. Woo. You can get that little jab, reset, Athletic position, quick stick. All right, we're switching sides. So now I'm on my right leg, pushing to my left. Quick stick, quick stick, quick stick. All right, we're ready. So like I said earlier, we are increasing the volume back up. The workout is the same. We're just gonna add a little bit more work to this week's workouts, just depending on if we are actually gonna run this weekend or not. We're just gonna bring it back up, and then depending on what happens, we'll go from there. So last week, our 3 exercises were our single leg jump to stabilize, and we did only 2 rounds of that. We're gonna bring it back to our continuous jump, 5 reps, sticking the last one. And then the second exercise, we're gonna go into some mobility again. So we're gonna hit our spine, flexion, extension. We've got our cat-cows, 5 of each. And then our last exercise is we've got our lateral shuffle. We're gonna do 4 total changes of direction and then adding weight. So you can use the same weight you've been using. We're just going back up to 3 rounds. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with our continuous jump or hops. So starting on the left leg, remember, load and explode, try to get up as high as you can every stride. And then after your 5th hop, then stick the landing. Remember, your knee is that shock absorber, so let that knee bend to take the force out of your landing versus landing super stiff-legged and putting all the tension on your knees. All right, here we go. 5 reps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stick it. Nice. All right, switching sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stick. Oh yeah. All right. Second exercise, we're gonna do our cat-cow stretch. So I'm getting on all 4s, pretty spaced out, hands and knees, pulling those shoulder blades up. Exhaling, creating that big dip in my back, looking up towards the ceiling. And 4 more of those. All right, lateral shuffle. Got my med ball. I'm gonna start off to the left side. So now I wanna keep that weight centered. Remember, when you're changing directions, we are bringing that weight to the side, but then how fast can we pull it to get to the other side? So ideally, we don't want the weight to pull us over because we're staying in that athletic position. Knowing when we're gonna change directions, we've already got our hips shifted towards the direction we want to go to. So we're getting ready every time. All right, so 4 changes of directions. Here we go. Okay. And remember, I'm just trying to stay in the frame. If you guys want to take a few more strides out, I'd say 6 to 8 steps is probably the max, because remember, we want to have a lot more power changing directions. We don't really want to use this as a conditioning exercise. So you guys have 2 more additional rounds of these 3 exercises, and then we'll move on to the next block. Okay, so second block, the 3 exercises we have is our single leg squats. We've got 5 reps. Then we're gonna switch it up. We're gonna do our plank with pull through. I'm gonna use this band as my object that I'm bringing, that I'm using for that. And then we've got our 5 rows each side, and we're just gonna do 3 rounds instead of 2. So to get started, I've got my plate. You guys have your weight or whatever you've been using. We're gonna get started. Remember, you wanna just load up through the foot that's up. Try to take as much momentum out as possible. Try not to let that bottom leg do the work for you. We're just using our glutes, quads, hamstrings to get up. All right, switching sides. I think that was fun. One, 2, 3, 4, last one, 5. Cool. All right, so for the plank with pull-throughs, if you guys haven't seen this one before, if you're new to these videos, basically what it looks like is you could use a dumbbell or a kettlebell or any sort of weight. I'm just gonna use an object. You can use that too, just to give myself something to do this exercise with. So I'm in my push-up position, and I'm gonna reach under, starting from kind of a further away point, bring the object underneath and away, and then switch hands. So you're bringing it back across. We've got 5 each side. So you're rotating under, pulling it across. We're not placing it to the other side, we're dragging it from underneath. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5. All right, now we've got our rows. So there's pretty much any form you can do on these. And if you can have a variety, that's also fine. So you can switch back and forth. If you're able to set up a resistance band that you can pull down, you can switch back and forth every week, whether or not you're rowing horizontally or vertically, like I just showed you, totally fine. I'm gonna stick to my bent row. So what that looks like is I'm just gonna use my weight. I'm gonna get in a bent position, so I'm putting my hips back. I'm gonna try to keep a flat back from my shoulder to my hips, and I'm keeping my elbow close to my side for 5 rows. 3, 4, and 5. Switching sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right. So those are the 3 exercises we've got for this block. Go ahead and pause here to do your 2 remaining rounds, and I'll see you in the last block. All right, so for our last block, again, 3 rounds, but we're keeping the reps the same. We've got our shoulder circuit, our lunge circuit, and our hollow body hold. So we're gonna do 6, 5, and 20 seconds. So 6 of each shoulder movement, which is our lateral, front, and upright row. And then we'll move on. So we can go ahead and start with our arm circuit. So just what I did, only 6 of each. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Front raise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, I'm putting both my feet on this band. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Sweet. All right, lunge circuit, front, lateral, and reverse. 5 of each leg. Switching sides. And 5. Cool. All right, so 20 seconds dead bug, gonna move this out of the way. So ideally what this looks like is you guys are starting flat on the floor. You can either start with your knees up, hands up, lifting shoulders and moving away, or you can just start that position from the bottom and lift up from there. I've always showed it as the other way, but I'm gonna start just from the bottom this time. And we've got 20 seconds. Ready, set, and we're up. That's halfway. 18, 19, and 20. All right, so those are our 3 last exercises. Again, you've got 3 total rounds, and then we'll do a cool down stretch. All right, so to cool it down, I'm just gonna do some groiners. So what that looks like is if I'm going into my half kneeling position, I'm just gonna move my foot out to the side, tuck my hips, and just lean into it. Like I'm pushing my knee over my toes, so I should feel a stretch both inside thighs. Maybe not this side if you're not super tight. We're just gonna spend some time on this side. I'm just gonna keep talking, so keep doing this stretch. Basically how we wanna treat this week with the air quality outside, depending on where you are, but I have an idea that everyone's kind of in the same boat at this time. If you're doing any high intensity training, best bang for your buck right now, kind of avoiding super long workouts, but if we increase the intensity, let's switch sides. Just make sure that you guys are inside or in a really well ventilated area so that if you are doing these workouts, you're still doing more good than harm. We don't really want to inhale a lot of pollutants and all the stuff that's in the air right now just for the sake of staying in shape for the 5K, because honestly, it's not going to help you. So just make sure, prioritize air quality, working out in a good space. I've got my garage door shut to make my hot box, but I'd rather do that than inhale the fumes. So just remember, whether or not, even at home, if you've got like a rower or elliptical or a treadmill, something you haven't used in a while, you can use that as your conditioning for the 5K. If you're still worried about kind of getting your heart rate up, doing your intervals, you can still do the tempo, you can do your interval training on a different sort of device that doesn't technically have to be you running. So we'll pause there for a second. We're gonna do our shoulders stretches. So you're just gonna make a Y position and crossing the leg over. So we're putting pressure in that right shoulder. You wanna keep your head down, but I'm just gonna keep talking so I've got my head up. Basically, just remember, you still wanna prioritize single leg strength, stretching and mobility. If you do have shin splint issues, taking care of that. Shoulder health, so getting that circuit in, getting your back still healthy, all those posture muscles. Switch sides, we want to keep those happy leading up to the 5K whenever it does happen. So we don't want to throw our training completely out the window, but we don't need to stress right now about getting outside and getting that running in, because we can find other sources of exercises inside to kind of hold on to what we've built up over these last 4, now 5 weeks. All right, and rest. Cool. So to add a little bit more information, if you guys want to keep up your training, obviously you still want to keep up with these workouts that you've been doing, but if you feel like you need a little bit more, if you're taking away from the running workouts, you can definitely add the metabolic body weight workouts on the Exos YouTube playlist just to get some form of conditioning in. But again, don't stress about going outside right now to train. We just want to prioritize we're shifting how we can get our training done while inside in good air quality. So thanks for tuning in today, and I will see you on Thursday. Good luck with your training.